Okay, so hi everybody, my name's Gabby. I'm part of the sales team based up at the head office in Cairns. I will also have Katie, one of our special Master Reef Guides, joining us later on in the webinar as well. But thanks for taking the time to join us today and learn about the fantastic Great Barrier Reef itineraries that we offer. So before we get started, I'd just like everyone to know we are recording today's webinar and you will receive a recorded version after today. If you want to share it with friends or family, or if you miss out on anything today and come in late, you will get a recorded version after today. Also, if you do have any questions throughout the webinar, there is a chat section, so you can pop them in the chat section, and we will also have a question and answer section at the end of today's webinar as well. So let's get started. So Coral Expeditions pioneered expedition cruising on the outer reaches of the Great Barrier Reef 40 years ago, and we have forged a reputation for excellence and expertise on the reef. So these expedition voyages that we take you to learn about today and explore hidden corners, basically, and uninhabited sand cays and small islands and pristine reef systems in our backyard here in Cairns. So the Great Barrier Reef, it's in our DNA, and we ensure that most immersive and educational experience possible. We have our expert guides like Katie, and they share their knowledge with you above and below the water. So they're bringing you close to the natural wonders and wildlife and giving you a deep understanding of this beautiful destination we call our backyard, the Great Barrier Reef. So the expedition experience, if you're new to expedition cruising, it's for the traveller that enjoys going off the beaten track to destinations with small groups of like-minded travellers, and we provide you with an immersive and educational experience, whether it might be on board our vessels, where we're encouraging a natural Australian style service and an open interaction between our guests and our crew. So it's one where you can watch your dinner being prepared in our open galleys by our awesome chefs, or you might want to head up into the bridge. We do have an open bridge policy. Have a chat with the captain, check out the charts and where we're headed for the day, or it might be chatting with our chief engineer and doing an engineer tour while you're on board. We do have great guest lecturers who we pick for each destination as well. You might have a meal with them at dinner or lunch, so there's always that great interaction between our crew and our guests. So Coral Expeditions, we were one of the first cruise operators that employed interpretive guides on our cruises, and it is a tradition that we still continue today. So each trip will include a mix of our full-time guest lecturers who join the expedition team, and then we have our special guest lecturers who are chosen for their specific knowledge. So they immerse you guys on the unique wildlife and environments that we're visiting, and that's really what expedition cruising is all about. So having guided expeditions in the region for 40 years now, we are celebrating our 40th anniversary this year. We certainly know all the nooks and crannies that a lot of other operators don't. Our expedition team, they provide their local expertise with a strong understanding of the unique landscapes, the flora and fauna, and the Indigenous cultures of the regions that we visit. And our passionate expedition leaders, they're on board. They take you on every excursion. We don't hand over to land-based tour companies, so we're with you the whole way. We always aim for 2 shore excursions or activities each day as well, and these will always vary. So there's always something for everybody. Now, we operate our shore excursions on our Explorer tenders, which you can see up on the screen there, or as we like to call them, our safari jeeps of the sea. So these are our trademark vessels. They were built purposely for our shore excursions. How they operate is on a hydraulic launching mechanism. So you just walk out onto the back deck straight from the dining room. You'll load straight onto the side of the Explorer, find a nice comfy seat on board, and then you'll be lowered down to the water and you're off on your shore excursion under 5 minutes. It's amazing. The same thing happens when you get back. It goes onto a platform and just takes you straight back up to the top deck. So basically on board, we do have our guest lecturers and expedition team with you. There is an audio system, so you get a clear commentary. You don't miss out on anything they're having to say along the way. There's a ramp at the front of the Explorer, so it's quite easy to get on and off for wet or dry landings. and there is a toilet on board as well for remote convenience. So it's a great way to explore any region that you're going to. We always use the explorers for our shore excursions. We do also have the Zodiac inflatables as well. These will be used where possible. It's just another option, gives you that excitable, flexible option for shore excursions and activities, depending on what you're doing, and a great way to get up close with nature as well. So the ship we use for the reef is Coral Discoverer. So Coral Discoverer is our oldest vessel. She's about 15 years now, but had a couple of refurbs. The last one was in December. So she is, sorry, we call her she. Coral Discoverer is our most loved ship by our loyal Explorer Club members, because it's also our smallest ship. She's got maximum of 72 passengers is the capacity, and you get that nice intimate feel on board. So Coral Discoverer and the rest of our ships, our other two ships, they are all Australian flagged expedition ships, and they are designed for expedition cruising. So they feature wraparound decks, private balconies on some of the staterooms, and plenty of outdoor dining so you can enjoy the beautiful surroundings. Now, on Coral Discoverer, there's 36 staterooms. Each room is outward facing, so it just depends on the size of the room you want, but they'll start from a porthole window, and then we do have options up on the bridge deck, which have balconies as well. So you can find more information and pictures of the rooms, our staterooms, on our website. As I said, they're all outward facing, and you will find that you spend a lot of your time out on those beautiful alfresco areas or enjoying your shore activities. All right, so I'm going to hand you over to Katie today. So we're lucky enough to have Katie joining us from Airlie Beach. She's just done a 2-month stint on Heron Island. So she's one of our fantastic expedition crew and master reef guides with us here today, and she's going to tell you all about the beautiful places we go on our reef trips. But before we do that, Katie, I'll hand over to you and you can tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thanks, Gabby. Well, hi, everyone. Thanks a lot for coming along today. So my name's Katie. I'm a master reef guide, so I work for the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park Authority and do a lot of surveys and eye on the reef, which when you come on board, I will try and make you get involved in, because it's very important, that app on your phone. But yeah, I started out on Fraser, which is now called Gari, the traditional owner name, and worked there and didn't really know a thing about anything, but I've just learnt and pretty much stalked professionals my whole way along the field. So I worked on the pontoon at the Great Barrier Reef out at Airlie Beach for 2 years, and that's where I learnt pretty much everything about coral and fish and everything, and just read and read and read. So my library at my house is insane, because I just read books all the time on everything and learn. So then I've worked on Heron Island for a couple of years, and that's where they nominated me as a master reef guide, and I got through. So that was pretty much the best day of my life, because it's just my true passion, being out on the reef. And I worked in Coral Bay in Western Australia, and then I got the job at Coral Expeditions, which is also one of the coolest things I've ever done. So very excited to be there and doing all these reef trips with all of you that come along. So yeah.
Thanks, Katie. Tell you're very passionate about it. All right.
So the outer known adventures of the Great Barrier Reef. So that's Cairns to Cairns. We do 7-night trips, and it's seriously my favourite trip that we do. Obviously being in my own backyard, but we go to so many beautiful places. Like we start off going to Fitzroy Island, which has some really cool introduction to snorkeling for you. So you can just sort of start from the shore and ease your way in, and that's where I'll kind of see how you're at, and if you need any help, you just ask, and we'll make it really easy for you. And yeah, it's a really good stepping stone to getting into some of the places where we jump off the back of the boat later on. We also have you can go to the turtle sanctuary, and then there's just like so many things to do on this trip. But so basically, I think if we go to the next slide, it will be Cooktown. I'll talk about them as we go. Cooktown, yes. So Cooktown, we have some really awesome bus drivers that pick us up when we get to shore. You can just walk and do your own thing for the day if you like. And yeah, that's fine to do. But it is kind of cool to go on these bus trips because the guides, I've been with both of them a couple of times, and they're both just amazing, passionate people. And they'll take us up to the lookout, and you can just see so far out and see Cook Mountain. And then, yeah, the whole lookout. And then you'll learn about the story of Captain Cook. And we go to the museum and also the botanical gardens, which is one of my favorites because I love birds. And you might see one of the orioles. You'll hear the beautiful sound of the oriole birds that are always in trees. And also you can collect mangoes if you aren't fed enough on the ship. I think you might be, but I always like to collect mangoes as well. And next one. So yeah, you can some of this, the biodiversity that we have in the Great Barrier Reef. We have one of the highest biodiversities in the whole planet. So the things that we're going to see and the things that I have seen on these trips are just next level. Like we have 1,650 random reef fish that live out there, and I don't know who counted that, but they did. And I've only every day, like I'll snorkel and I'll find more. So you never know what you're going to see when you're on these snorkel excursions. Yeah, still to this day, I'm just continuously seeing fish that I don't even know about. There's like 10,000 variety of fish in the Great Barrier Reef. 133 sharks and rays, 6 of the world's 7 types of turtles. So yeah, we're going to see a lot of cool stuff out there. Nemos. One of my favorite things to see. And also this one here is Mary Wrasse, and that is a male, and they're beautiful. Like if you see the little patterns on their face, like mazes, they're just insanely cool animals, and I'll teach you a lot about them when you come along.
How do you know it's a male? How can you tell?
Oh, the hump on its head, and just a bit the colour, because yeah, male fish sometimes are actually brighter than the females, like parrotfish. Some of the varieties, you'll actually see the male, and then you won't notice the females because they're like a light pinky grey, and they're so attractive, the males, that they get about 15 to 20 girlfriends. So it could be a good thing or a bad thing. It's a lot of presents to buy at Christmas, but yeah, they're sometimes the males are just a lot brighter. So.
Awesome.
And yeah, so with the gear when you're on the boat, we will provide all your gear. So the first day or second day, depending on the itinerary, we will hand out all your gear. We'll give you a big talking as well, like just into getting you in the water. If any of you are a little bit scared and you want to hold my hand, we also provide that as well. So I'll take a little tube out, and you can just hold onto the tube, and I'll do a little tour with you. So yeah, you will be very safe. And we also jump in the water before you and do a check. So that's me, I'm the dummy. So I'll jump in, make sure the water conditions are all good and safe. And then we hand out all your snorkels, masks, fins. And also one little tip that I'll give you is this, maybe bring socks to put under your fins. I know it sounds silly, but I will recommend that, and you will thank me for it when you get there, because sometimes the fins can hurt after you're being little mermaids and dolphins for the whole 7 days. It starts to give you little blisters on your feet, so you might just want to have socks, and then that stops that from happening. Just little thin ones. And then we also do provide a mask for vision as well. So, but just maybe check with the reservation team just before we come on board that we do have it if you require it. A lot of times people borrow them and then they end up not wanting them in the end. They just because the masks that we provide are actually a little bit magnified, so they also are awesome. And you definitely do want to wear fins, and it's a requirement, so just be aware of that, because when you get in a current or something like that, the fins make such a difference to get you out of any current or anything like that. So do maybe just take my advice and bring the socks, and that'll make you so much more enjoyable in the water.
Good tip.
So this is one of the favorites, the sundowners. So we will go to one of the cays, the coral cays, and we'll just set up everything for you, and then you arrive on the beach and you can have a nice little champagne and sit back and relax and just watch the sun go down over the mountain. That's the Daintree in the background there. So I think it's Mackay Cay, if I'm right. But yeah, so it's just such a nice little get together, and everyone loves it. It's one of the favorite like top tour things to do, is go to these little sunset drinks. And we also provide canapes, and then we take you back to the ship later and you'll have dinner on board after the sunset. Fitzroy Island. Yes, as I started talking about that before, it is one of my favorite places ever. Even just a trip over there and seeing it all come together, and then in the next morning we'll take you over, and that's where I said we'll ease you into the water. You can do some snorkel practice, and I'll be there, with my rescue tube and whatever I required is to be there for you. And yeah, so we can also do Fitzroy Peak, which is for it's quite a big walk, but definitely so rewarding in the end. And it's a beautiful walk. It's one of my favorite bushwalks I've ever done, going up Fitzroy Peak. But also we do have a shorter one, which is the Rainforest Walk, which also is super, super awesome. So it's a hard choice to make which one you want to do, but both are amazing walks. And so, yeah, if you don't want to walk too far, maybe choose a Rainforest Walk. But then after your walks, you can have a nice little swim just to cool down, and maybe snorkel with turtle. There are a fair few turtles at that beach. I've actually swum with some, watching them eat jellyfish, some triggerfish there and stuff like that. It's really cool. And then, yeah, so we give you breakfast as well to take up to the peak if you want to do that, so you don't have to miss breakfast. But yeah, that Fitzroy Island is just a beautiful place, and it's not too far out of Cairns. So first day of the trip normally we spend there, and yeah, just get you into it. Citizen science, the Great Barrier Reef. So that's pretty much my thing that I'll be doing with you guys. So as a Master Reef Guide, I work for GRUMPA, as I explained, the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park Authority, and I've been taught all these things. So I will encourage you all to get along and come. Maybe I'll do a talk at the start of the trip and get you into it. And if you want to try and do a little survey, I'll teach you all the different ones, and it's kind of fun to do them. And then also I'll get you to add the Eye on the Reef app. You might even want to do that now. It's like a little fish with an eye, and it's called Eye on the Reef. And yeah, you can just, no matter where you are, you might be in the rainforest and see a green tree frog, and you can add that and where you are, and you never know that maybe no one's ever seen a green tree frog there before, or a dolphin in a river, or a turtle somewhere. Like, you don't know what your sighting may mean to the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park Authority. So something that I'll really try to get you involved with, and it's super easy to do. So it's up to you though. Of course, you're on holidays, you can do what you want, but yeah, it's one of my big passions. So yeah, we go to so many different reefs. Some of the reefs that you're going to see are just next level. So get excited, and we ease you into it as well. So we'll start you, as I said, on Fitzroy. We do a few beach ones first, just to get you comfortable, and then later on in the trip we'll start going to Osprey and the ribbon reefs, where you'll get off the back of the boat. But as I said, very safe. I'm there to look after you when you get into the water, and we got crew everywhere. We got boats everywhere. We got mass amount of crew that will definitely look after you, help you get your gear on, make sure you're comfortable in it, and then if you're not, you can always get out. But yeah, we will definitely be there to make sure you're comfortable and having a good time. So we go to the Turtle Rehabilitation Centre as well on Fitzroy Island, as I said. So yeah, that's really cool. There's even things I learned. I've worked with turtles. It's probably my main field, is doing turtle education. So yeah, we go to this rehab centre, and I learned stuff there that I didn't know. And yeah, it's really cool to do that tour. So you will have to book on early, so just get on the boat and just book straight onto that, because it's definitely something that you'd want to do. And Lizzie there in the photo, she's amazing. Either any of the guides that take you there, they just teach you so much about turtles, and it makes you so passionate to see these poor turtles that do get like floater syndrome or FB disease, and yeah, and the recovery that they go to. And yeah, so much effort that these people put into, and volunteer as well. So yeah, an amazing thing to see. Yeah, and then Lizard Island. So Lizard is another favourite for me. So you go to Lizard. You can do another massive peak walk to Cook's Look, which is so cool. Lizard Island's named after the amount of lizards, hence its name. The monitors that are on the island. You can also go for a shorter walk and you do the airport strip and to the bay, and it's a beautiful bay. You can have a swim there, so make sure you take your togs. And then go past Mary Watson's cottage, a little bit more of Captain Hook history sort of stuff. And then we also take the kayaks, and if it's good weather, we'll get the glass bottom boat out as well, take you for a little trip on there. And Lizard Island is pretty much famous for its clam garden. So you will do that in the afternoon normally, but the snorkel in the morning as well is just incredible. And that's probably one of the places I've seen so many animals that I wasn't expecting to. But yeah, so many cool turtles and fish, and yeah, a lot to see there. The clams as well. Like I've never seen clams that big in my life. So yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, so you can do 2 snorkels that day as well, and yeah, or go for walks. So it's up to you, but we'll talk more about that when we get there. Osprey Reef. Ooh, I can't believe the visibility in this place. Yeah, so it is sometimes weather depending. Obviously, if it's not going to be a nice ride out, we're not going to take you there because it's not going to be a good time for you. But the ribbons are pretty much just as good. So yeah, we'll make up for it with another awesome reef that's just as good. But the ribbons and Osprey Reef are just next level. I can't believe how good the visibility are. And you may not at the start of this trip think swimming with a shark is cool, but by the end of it, I promise you will. The sharks that we swim with up there are reef sharks, and they're fine. I think I say that in my talks on Heron Island, and people just look at me at the start and I think, well, we're going to swim with sharks. But I promise you that they're only little ones, and they're really awesome to say you swum with a shark, and by the end of the trip, you'll go home loving sharks. So yeah, that's all good. But yeah, Osprey Reef and the ribbons, they just have the visibility like literally to the ground. You can't even say it because you can't see as far as the visibility goes on some days. And we will also, those ones are the ones where you'll have to jump off the back of the boat. It might be a bit deeper, but we go in first, make sure it's safe. If it's not, we'll relocate and yeah, make it awesome for you guys. John Buer Reef, I have never been to, but I have definitely heard about being the home to the largest installation of museum and underwater art. That's on one of the trips that we go from Brisbane to Cairns, and it's out of Townsville, this one. But yeah, I think I got told I would be on this trip, so I really hope I am, because yeah, definitely want to go to John Buer. Like, to see this is just insane, and apparently like really cool wildlife as well that you'll spot on the way down to the museum. And then yeah, Magnetic Island. So Magnetic, we go on a few different walks. You can just tour the town, do your own thing, but yeah, you can go on another big walk on this one and you will see koalas. So there's lots of koalas on Magnetic Island, and it's a beautiful reef. You can go on bus rides as well that take you right around the island, go to different stops, have lunch somewhere. It's up to you. So yeah, no, Magnetic Island is a top place to go as well. So maybe even move there one day. So turtles and rays, like I said, so this is a trip that's going from Brisbane to Cairns. So this will be my highlight tour, I think. It'll be all my backyards where I live. I pretty much lived all up Queensland, so, and I've worked on all these reefs. So yeah, currently just finishing on Heron, but yeah, this trip is awesome as well as Cairns ones. I'm so excited for them both. So yeah, this one goes to Mon Repos, and I've never even actually been to Mon Repos, and it's really cool that we're going there because it's a super hard thing to get into, because so they'll obviously pre-book this so that we can get a guide, and yeah, so to book into Mon Repos, like there's a waiting list, and you go there and you learn from Cole Olympus is where I learned a lot of my turtle information from. He's my 2.5 years that I spent on Heron Island. Obviously, we had about 200 turtles a night come up there to lay their eggs, and Cole would just, he's the loggerhead expert, and he taught me about their past they go through in life, like, and they go all the way from being born on Heron Island or Monrepo all the way to the Galapagos and come back, and that takes them about 20 to 25 years to do that. And they come back following Earth's magnetic compass. And yeah, he's so passionate about his loggerhead turtles, and they're seriously endangered at the moment. So a lot of research is going into protecting the loggerheads, and me and Cole used to go and replant their eggs. And yeah, so he works at Monrepo, and his son now I think has taken over as well. So very passionate people and a lot of knowledge on loggerhead turtles to learn on this island. Oh, sorry, it's in Bundaberg, just near Bundaberg. And Lady Elliot, probably the biggest thing I've got on my bucket list is Lady Elliot. And yeah, I've not been there, which is just crazy for my field. But yeah, so you can go and meet the Project Manta team that actually started, because they tag the manta rays from there. I think there's about 130 local manta rays that live there, and they come and go, and they tag them so they know where they go, but they pretty much just go all out Queensland and into the South Pacific, and they know by little satellites where they are. And yeah, so we'll hopefully get to swim with a manta ray there, and every single manta ray, like as you can see on its tummy there, they all have their own unique pattern. So if you ever do swim under there, maybe get your underwater cameras to take out with you, because if you see a manta ray and it's not been identified yet, you can actually name that manta ray. You can't take it home and put it in your pool, but you can name a manta ray and have it there swimming around named after you. So yeah, it's pretty cool. But Lady Elliot's meant to be like just the diving insane place on the planet. So yeah, I'm so excited to go there. My friend Jacinta Shackleton, she lives there, and I don't know if any of you saw it on the news, but she found the blanket octopus. And yeah, that's so cool. But yeah, you never know what you're going to see at Lady Elliot. And Heron Island, there I am. And that's the loggerhead place, just that cage there. That's where we actually replant the loggerhead eggs. And it's a big process doing that. We've only got 2 hours to get them from where they laid. And the reason we replant them is because loggerheads, as Cole would tell me, only 12 to 14 come up a season instead of 209 of the green sea turtles. So yeah, we have to relocate their eggs just because we don't want the green sea turtles to dig them up. But Heron Island is my baby. It's my favorite place on the planet. It's like, seriously, once you go there, you never stop going back. It's literally, I'll probably be going back to work there for the rest of my life on and off, because yeah, it's just the favorite place on the planet for me. And people refer it to like the Galapagos and stuff like that. I've not been, but yeah, there you go. So yeah, we'll do the coral restoration program on Daydream Island as well. So on Daydream, you can go there and yeah, the living reef is just incredible. There's underwater observatory room, and yeah, so they'll just show you some of the things they do there with the reef and coral planting. And there's also a little place that you can go, and there's a room with like Nemos and all different areas that you can visit. And there's a tiny little 1 kilometre walk that you can do. Maybe you might want to go have a swim out at Corals Cove. There's 2 massive pools. Yeah, pool bars, swim up pool bars, if that's your thing. But yeah, Daydream Island's also, that's my first ever job that I ever did, working for the reef, working out there when I was 21. And yeah, moved out there, lived on the island for about 9 months. But yeah, big passion for Daydream as well.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks, Katie. That was so good. And you can tell you're so passionate about it, and you know your stuff, so it'd be really good to go on a trip with you and learn all about the turtles, like the loggerhead turtles. That's incredible. I didn't know that. So yeah, that was great. Thank you. So we're going to go into some questions now. So as I mentioned at the start, guys, we have recorded the webinar today. So if you did jump in late, that's okay. We'll send out a recorded version to you after today's session so you can rewatch it or send it on to friends and family that might be interested. But just pop in any questions in the chat section. We'll try and get to everybody's questions now. And if we don't get to your question or you think of something later, you can see our reservations details on the screen there. So their email address is explore@coralexpeditions.com or a 1-800 number on there. Or please reach out to your preferred travel agent. They will always have the answers for you as well. All right. So, Katie, we've got a question here come through. When is stinger season?
Yeah, so during this time, we're going to be okay. So you don't have to worry about stingers. If we get lots of northerly winds, we'll know about that. But yeah, this time of year is fine for stingers. That's why we plan this trip. So you don't really have to worry about that. If you are concerned, I've never met a jellyfish that can read a calendar, but if you wanted to, you can maybe bring a stinger suit. They're quite cheap to buy, but I honestly don't really need to worry about stingers this time of year.
Would you recommend people bringing a rashie or something for in the water too? Yeah.
Yeah. It's worth just bringing them because also they're good for sun protection and they keep you a little bit warmer in the water as well as protecting you from the stingers in case. Because the irukandjis are tiny little invisible animals, so we can't promise that you won't. But if you're wearing those suits, it actually it's for the respiratory system. So that's why we actually, when people always ask me why don't I need my hands and feet covered, it's for your internal organs. So that's why I recommend just maybe grabbing a rashie and bringing it out with you for all three reasons.
Yeah, perfect. And then I guess the water temperature, what's the temp usually like at that time of year?
Oh, lovely. So if you have your rashie, that always comes in. I always wear one just because I have to stay in the water. You guys get a choice when you want to get out, but it's my job to stay in there and look after you. So I wear them. And the water temperature should be around late 20s. So it's pretty warm that time of year.
Perfect. And then if anyone is on board and forgets their rashie or a stinger suit and you want some, you can buy one on board. They're about $30, so just see the crew once you're on there. But as Katie said, we recommend bring your own if you've got it, and it will keep you that little bit warmer in the water as well. Shoes. So what do you recommend for shoes, Katie? I know Fitzroy is more of a coral beach, not a sand beach, so reef shoes probably the best.
Maybe bring your reef shoes, just keeps you comfortable. And also you probably want to bring your hiking shoes. Some of the landings that we make in our Explorers, you may get your feet wet, so we'll provide a little towel for you so you can and I'll sit there and wait for you while we get ready for our walk. And so you might want your hiking shoes, bring reef shoes, pair of thongs, and maybe your fancy shoes for looking good at sunset drinks on the ship. And maybe bring a funky outfit. You might want to have a cool outfit to wear on sunset drinks or on the beach drinks. I think that'd be cool. Bring a Hawaii shirt or something.
Have a fun shirt day. Awesome. Perfect. And then I think that was all we had. We had someone ask about the optical mask, but you did answer that in the webinar. If you did miss that, there are limited optical masks available on board, so if you got your own, bring it along. Otherwise, once you're on board and you do need one, see Katie and they'll look after you guys with that. So again, guys, we did record the webinar today. It will be sent out to you. If you've got any questions, you've got the details on the screen there to reach out to our awesome reservations team that are based in Cairns. And you can always reach out to your preferred travel agent as well, and they'll get the answers you need too. So thanks so much, Katie. That was fantastic. And it sounds like it's going to be a great season.
So excited.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
See you later.